Well, good morning from Sleepy Creek Farm Homestead. It is March 3rd, 2021, and we've got a frosty morning here, but gonna be a nice day. I thought I'd get our opening video shot here and show you a little of the farm. Got some mini daffodils blooming, and the big ones are getting ready. So I'm Harris Jubert, and I and my wife Susan have the Sleepy Creek Farm, an apiary where we raise New Zealand and American chinchilla rabbits and honeybees. I have a small queen rearing operation. My title here is manure manager, carpenter, and dog entertainment. I swear I spend 2 to 3 hours a day throwing this ball for these silly dogs. So that's Tank and Tilly. Big one is Tank, and then Tilly's a silly little girl that won't leave him alone. They're pretty darn good dogs, but boy, they love this ball. All right, we'll head this way to start the tour. Here's a load of peat moss that and potting mix mixed together that a friend brought by. As you can see, we have a nice large greenhouse, and it's about time to start potting things up. But we have to get breakfast fed out here because the mules will start tearing down fences, or at least making a lot of noise if we don't get some hay over the fence. They have spent most of their winter in the barn because we're so wet here that they'll just tear the pasture up. I don't know if you guys can see, there's a couple of ducks sitting down here. We've got a hen and a drake or two that pop into a little drain ditch here in the spring, every spring, and they hang out here. Like to get a little better pond developed for them, so they would actually set in here, maybe have a nest. But anyhow, Tilly, you're gonna go get the mules? Go get the mules. Go get them. Go get the mules. She knows what she's supposed to do, but she doesn't know how to do it because nobody's trained her right. But the mules know what to do anyway, so she'll run out there and harass them a little bit, and they'll come up and get fed. So I believe they'd all like to kind of go back in the barn and just hang out until they realized the sun was shining. Get them, Tilly. Get the mules. Go get them. Don't seem to be all fired hungry this morning. What's going on, you guys? Nobody's in a rush. Comes Annie. Morning, Annie. She's gonna come get some breakfast. Here comes old Hot Rod. Ryder. Good job, Tilly. Tilly, that'll do. Tilly! That'll do. Come on. Where's the tennis ball, Tank? They're coming, but I'm not gonna stand here all day waiting on them. Get down and get through the rabbitry. So along here's the stands where I did queen rearing last year, and we'll get some of it set up again this year. Gonna go into a lot bigger production this year. Last year was a test run, and I had some big lessons to learn, so hopefully we've gotten those out of the way. And here's our orchard. We got a nice little orchard in here. One of my recommendations to new homesteaders: get your power and water out to your corners as soon as you can and get your orchard planted. I come in and till in between the trees in the orchard and put in manure and stuff, and we add garden space in there. I've got garlic right there coming up nicely. And then we tend to leave some of our stuff to bloom as the bees enjoy it. Broccoli especially is a great one to leave the last of it to go up to bloom, because it'll bloom all winter here in the Willamette Valley. Now this is my little berry patch. Got some strawberries in here and blueberries. Oh. And now we'll start our tour of the Rabbitry. Get in here and turn some lights on. Turn and find Tilly's ball, because she just throws it at you when she comes back. So this was the first area that we developed for rabbit, and we affectionately call it the doe barn, though we have does everywhere now, so it's not really the doe barn or the only doe barn. But as we added on and added on, we had to have names for things. So got some little guys in here, the blues and whites mixed in there. So we've got these cage design that we've come to like, which are 5-footers with dividers in the middle, and they can be opened up when the kits get big and need more space, like they've got on this one. They've got both sides to run. It's just nice to be able to give them more space, and then sometimes you can't. You need all the holes you got so they don't get it. I'm going to develop a better way to hang these darn feeders so they don't come loose, but that's on my list stuff. So we get quite a few rabbits in this little corner, but it didn't take us long to outgrow that. So I constructed or reconstructed carport that had the tarps on it. A friend had for hay storage, and the tarp tore up, so I set it up here, put some tin on it, and we have rabbit runs in here. Can't get them 3 stacks tall in here, but I can do 2, which then again gets us a lot. The trays are a pain. They've got to be cleaned on a pretty regular basis, but the option is to build more barns. So the other size cage that we typically run are these 36 inchers with a divide down the middle, and this is where Susan likes to keep her older grow outs, the ones that didn't go to freezer camp, that she's waiting to assess as to whether they'll go in her breeding program or on to someone else's breeding program. But these are the quality ones she picked out when the culls all went to the cull buyer. And this is her little office space here, so it's nice for her to keep them right here next to her office space, which keeps them calmed down a lot. They see people and dogs, and you know, she's walking by them all the time. With the amount of rabbits we have, we don't get time to handle every one of them every day. We'll just take a poke in the greenhouse here for a second and get on. We've got a nice 22 by 65 greenhouse. The frames are built out of galvanized water pipe and were built by a friend of mine's dad 50 plus years ago. So it's kind of neat to have. We plant right in the ground at one end and have 20 foot of benches at the other. In the winter time, Susan hangs the does in here that she's trying to get to breed, the little extra light and the little extra warmth. And we put some grow lights on them this year for some real better UV ray stuff. And it tends to help them breed a little better in the winter when they don't like to breed so well. And I picked up these plastic silo things and set them up with a stop on the bottom so I can pour the feed in and just run it into the bucket. With the amount that we go through, this gives us a lot less spillage than trying to pour 2 bags, 3 bags a day into buckets and carry them around. We ended up with a lot more on the floor. So this is our cage cleaning station. The cage is waiting to be cleaned. On my list of stuff to do today, cages that are clean that are going in today. This is our main garden and the compost pile. We've got a plant called red dead nettle that comes up in the garden as a weed every fall and winter. It works as a great cover crop, and the little pink flowers put out a brilliant red pollen that the bees pick up early. Hopefully I'll be able to get some shots of that because it's just stunning to see it going into the hives. But this is a plant that is absolutely no problem in the summertime as a weed. It's not here, so it's a great cover crop and it's edible. Has kind of an earthy taste. It's good to chop up and put in salads, and I suppose if you had enough you could put it in stir fry stuff. So this is our grow out, one of our grow out spots that the rabbits get weaned to and come out here and grow out till it's time to sort them and see if who's going to freezer camp and who's going into Susan's office. Here's a little pile of some chins. Oh, all right, we'll progress on here where this thing drags onto everything. This just got resurrected and pulled out of the blackberry bushes. I had put a bunch of old aluminum windows on it as my first greenhouse and realized in about 3 weeks it was too small. So it has sat there for years. Now it's going to get probably turned into more rabbit space. The old farmhouse was built around 1900 or 1901 with a number of additions and remodels on it. I completely remodeled when I purchased it about 30 years ago. Someday, if I get it clean enough, we'll get a little tour in there. So now we'll step over here and look in the horse trailer. This is our quarantine area. So the rabbits that are going to shows and come back are in this quarantine area. Basically the show string. So it's kind of nice to be able to have them separated like that. There's some pretty bad rabbit stuff out there that can come home with you from shows, and it's nice to have it isolated. It's the other part that's nice about our weird expansion here, where we have rabbits poked in all kinds of corners. If something does come into your rabbitry and becomes a problem, you can limit it easier. If it's one whole big barn, it's a little tougher. So here's my shop for what it's worth, with some bee equipment that needs worked in there, and piles and pallets of bee equipment ready for spring and the bees. More cages that need cleaned, and the scrap metal pile that was supposed to head out of here before COVID hit and hasn't left yet. So Should have flipped the shop lights on. But in the back of the shop here, we also have rabbits, which is, again, you know, these can be separated out. If Susan needs to medicate some, they can go in this spot. We can turn their automatic system off and hand water them for medication. And you know, having them split like this is sometimes kind of nice. It slows things down a little in the chores, just getting the chores done. But so this used to be horse stalls. We got rid of a couple of horses, and I quickly came in and arranged this. The plan at the time that this was put in was that it would be expansion room for Susan for months. She immediately found a herd of whites and filled it. So that's how it goes. And like I say, again, we're ready to do some more additions because we need more space. So I arranged this where the cages sit on the back lip back here, and there's a couple little screws that stand up that hook the back of the cage. Then it tips right up against the water nipples and hangs from here. It's easy for one person to get cages in and out, and it seems to work pretty well. So, and Susan's got a workstation out here. She does her breeding on the table. She prefers to table breed, so this is a really nice space for that, and I'm sure we'll get some videos of that before we're done here. Well, mules out there finally got to breakfast. So take a little wander out towards the chicken coop. And so these are the horse stalls in need of cleaning. It's on the list this morning. I've got 4 nice stalls, and I had 4 mules, and then a buddy bought one and threw it over here, so I had to build a temporary stall in the middle to be able to get everybody in. This is overflow rabbit storage, hay storage, tractor storage, whatever needs to go in there. There's going to be more expansion out this direction, I believe, this year. So you can hear the chickens talking. Well, there's a round pen. The property drops off down here to the creek. It's a nice creek that gets dammed up about a mile below us every year for irrigation. So we've got, it's 40 feet across and 18-20 feet deep right in front of our place. We can actually put a canoe in and go down the creek if we want. Haven't done it in years because I'm too darn busy. So here's the chickens. Get out here, get the house chicken stuff thrown to them. I have my nest boxes set up where I could open from the back and get the eggs out, which I'll do here directly, and get them another tub of feed. Been trying to feed them a little slowly because the darn starlings and other little brown birds are coming in and eating all the feed, which is what they do in the winter time. I need to get this place tightened up a little more. I've got a bunch of bird netting. I'll probably get that on video when I put it up. So anyhow, I'll get some feed on them. So hope you guys have enjoyed the little tour. If there's any parts of this you've seen you want to see a little more on quicker, put it in the comments, and I'll get to putting a video on it. Otherwise, I'll have, you know, lots of details coming about a lot of the things we're doing here soon, I hope. If you can subscribe to the channel and hit the bell and all for notifications, you'll get a little indication when we put one out, so that you'll know we'll have a new video out. And I hope you all enjoyed the little tour, and it didn't drag it on too long. And I hope to see you on the YouTube.